Hello everyone, welcome back to a second channel video. This is my second channel. A lot of you have subscribed to this one for my viral Donkey Kong demo video, which I have to emphasize is a demo. The full release on my main channel has only 45 views compared to the 200,000 that this one has. I'm not really complaining that my second channel has 100 more subs than my main channel, but that doesn't mean I have to kind of put content on this one because, well, there's people waiting here, so I have to do something. So thank you for 500 subscribers, I guess. I never expected to hit that on this channel. I would have loved to have it on my main, but I'm about to unlock community tab and stuff, so that's pretty great. So I'm gonna have to make more content here, starting with a lot of behind the scenes content where I will explain the more technical side of how my maps work. Um, Today I'm gonna explain how my map Super Pick Art work. Let's just get straight into it. The main question is, of course, the pigs themselves. How do they work? Well, not all pigs have the speed effect. It only works for certain pigs. As you can see, I'm gonna open my coding thing that I use Sublime Text for my coding. These are all the functions. So I'm gonna copy the command that summons the pig right now. As you can see, the pig is invulnerable, meaning you can't damage it in adventure mode. It has a saddle and it has a tag. Every entity can have a tag, and the tag is SPK, which stands for Super Pig Card Pig. This tag is very important because without the tag, it doesn't get well, any of the code. Because if I code something, it always only happens for pigs that have this tag. So if I now take a carrot on a stick, as you can see, it has a speed effect, just like in the actual game. This is kind of loud. The way this works is literally just by giving it a speed effect. You can give it any speed effect you want. As you can see, if I give it effect, give AE tag equals SPK pick, that's how we do it. Speed, then you have to add seconds first, so I'll do like 10 seconds of speed, 255. Then you say true so that the particles don't show up. As you can see, it's super fast now, and I fell into the water. And since my selected map was Sherbet Land, which has water you can fall into, it thinks that we're in Sherbet Land right now, which we're not, but that doesn't matter. So that's the main part of the pigs. Now let's go over how the actual hub selection works. So here is the hub. The actual hub with the tracks is actually just under Delfino Square as a track. So there we go. So here is what you expect to see from my map. First of all, there's an about section which just gives you a book. This book was generated using MC Stacker, which is a website I use for all my command generation. Very useful. I'll leave a link in the description. Make sure to check it out. That's how I learn my commands. I experimented with MC Stacker. So when you select any track, it shows this in chat, which is just the tell raw command, and it also updates a value. So it updates the track value. As you can see, Sherbetland or Delfino Plaza has a track of 1, Sherbetland has 2, and Baby Park has 3. That's how I know which map you selected once you hit play. Now once you hit play, it'll send you to that map's pig station. What is a pig station? Well, for Delfino Square, this is Delfino Square's pig station. They all look the same, but basically this exact building can be found under every single track. The reason I do this and I don't just teleport everyone here in this same big station is because um, all of the tracks are like 1,000 blocks apart, so it would kind of lag the game as you're rendering hundreds of new chunks. So that's why they're there, because otherwise the game just completely breaks. So it teleports you to the according pig station, and then it summons a pig. Let me just actually start the game. It summons a pig. So as you can see, I've selected baby parks. So it took a while to load because I'm actually under baby park right now, as you can see, because this is like underground. And it summoned one pig because it automatically detects that I'm with one player. That's easy to do. Just make a scoreboard value like here. Then we just set it to 0 and execute as every single player on the map. Add 1 to it, and then, for example, if it's 7 players, it'll add 1 7 times, so the number will be 7. So now it has detected that I am single player, and the mode has been set to time attack, and it has only summoned 1 pick. Now, in this specific map, there are 7 laps instead of 3. We'll talk about that more later, but basically, once the map has detected that everyone is on a pig, and we can do that by like checking the data of a player, because when they're on a pig, they have like riding a pig data or something. You can detect that, and then it will TP everyone to their spots in the queue thing, like this spot right here on the map. Now, if you are in single player, there will only be one pig, and it will always be in this first slot right here, not like in the last slot. And basically, if you hop on a pig in this first spot, you will always end up in this first place. If you're like with eight players and you hop in a pig, like say at the sixth spot, you will probably end up here. This is a sixth spot, 7, 8, 5, 6, 4, 3, 4, 1, 2. So that's how you can like decide with your friends whether you want to go in the first place. Like in the actual Mario Kart, the person who wins a race should always end up in the first place, but I'm not gonna code that. You just decide that with your friends. So let's actually hop onto a pig. When you hop onto a pig, it actually runs a command cycle at the actual code thing. Also, I have a function for myself which lets me TP to different places. So I'll just TP to the code. So when you start a map, it actually sets a redstone block here, which is the countdown. Oh no, what is this? Oh, this is the finishing. So it sets a redstone block here, which is the countdown. So basically, it has like repeaters to time the countdown. So the first thing it does with every part of the countdown is place the red light that like show up in the map. Not a lot of people notice this, but there's actually lights that turn from red, orange to green as it's counting down. So it does that for every map. Then there is the sound effect, the bit thing, and then there is the tile that shows up. Then when you actually start the game, it has a green light, and it runs a function called race go, which basically means removing the barriers that encase the player here, and it also plays a sound effect, and then it sets everyone's lap to 0, and there's also another value which is very important. So I'm gonna set display sidebar middle crossed, and this is a value called middle cross. There's a lot of people there for testing, of course. And this value basically determines whether the player has crossed the middle part of the map. Basically, what this means is if I go like over here, this is the middle part of the map, it will turn to 1. Now, the map then knows, for example, if I cross the finish with this value being 0, it means that I haven't actually done a full lap yet, so it will not give me the next lap. When I have crossed the middle and my value turns to 1, it will give me the next lap. This is to prevent people from just going over the finish line, just going back over it to get another lap. Of course, that would be stupid, so it was kind of easy to implement. All tracks have this set middle point. I'm pretty sure in Delfino Square it's like where the two splitways come together, and in Sherbet Land it's somewhere at the end of the cave. But that doesn't really matter where you place it, as long as it's kind of in the middle of the track. So that's how it adds a lap. Now, when it adds a lap, it simply adds 1 to your lap counter. It displays a little title, and it sets your middle cross to 0, of course. That makes sense. Now when your lap is free, this is, where is it? Next lap. Here we go. So next lap. Now when your lap counter is free, then it will do some testing to define how long you spent riding on the track. So to do this in the background, there is always a value that is constantly what value is that even? Oh, it's race time, right? It's race time. So it is constantly a value that's counting up. As you can see, I haven't raced for like 30,000 ticks. There's 20 ticks a second. So it takes that value, and this code right here basically divides it by 20, which gives you the amount of seconds that it took. And then it goes to the race win function. This function, if you're in single play, which is G mode 1, just displays finish and your time, and then ends the race. And then if you're in multiplayer, it gives you the time and the finish thing, and it also has a place score. So there's like a value to detect what place you're in, and basically, if the place value it always starts at 0, and every time someone wins, it gets added 1 gets added to it, and then it detects that the place is 1, so that means you are the first player to finish, so you won basically. So then the next player, it will add 1, and it will detect that they're in second place, so on and so forth for the 8 places that it can be. And then also if there are also advancements that it has, so that's basically just easy to implement. This is just first win, blah blah. It says lap. It sets your lap to 0 as well, because otherwise, if you win a race and you're waiting for the others to finish, you could just do another lap and then you win again, because your lap is still free. It's kind of broken, so we set it to 0 so that it doesn't do anything else when you cross the lap. It also plays a sound effect, and that's check end. The check end function is a function that checks if everyone has actually ended the race. So that's basically, it detects how many players are playing, and it checks if the place counter from before equals the amount of players. If so, the race has ended, and it runs the function end race right here, which basically sets a block somewhere in the code, which is right here. And what this does is it shows the placement. So it shows the name of the person who has the place value of 1, and then the place value of 2. And then from then on, it only shows it if there's 3 people. And only if there's 8 people, it shows the 8th place, because otherwise there would just be nothing there. So that's pretty much how it works. So how does like the item box work? The item box is pretty easy. This is just an armor stand, by the way. If you were wondering, it's just constantly turning with a TP command, pretty easy. This item box detects when there is a pig with the SPK pig tag nearby, and then it runs a function called item box. Let me show you that function. The function item box. So it seems to execute a command at an armor stand called item rand. Now what is this? Well, if I go back to my code, as you can see here, there are, avoid these, this is not what I'm talking about. There are like a bunch of glitch armor stands. There are 6 of them, because there are 6 items, well, not in the full release yet, but I'm adding more items. So, and these all have the tag item rand, and then they have a number as a tag. So there's an item rand with the tag 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that's how they determine, so it basically just chooses a random one of these 6 armor stands, completely random, and it runs a function as that armor stand. It also gives the player a cooldown for when they can get another item box. It kills the item box, and it plays a sound effect. Now, the command that it executes as the randomly chosen armor stand is item box rand. So then it detects which number tag the armor stand has. If it has a tag 1, it will give you boom bomb. 2, it will give you mud ball, 3, boost room, blah blah blah. This is a little sneak peek at what I'm working on. So that's how it randomly gives you an item box. The item box is reset every time someone finishes a lap, which is not really that good, I think, because especially on smaller tracks like Baby Park, when you're playing with like 8 players, you might just see the item boxes pop up from nowhere when someone crosses the finish line, which isn't really a problem, I guess. But in actual Mario Kart, it's way more advanced. So let's actually just play a race right now. So here we go. This is the command block that detects whether everyone's on the pig, by the way. That's just how it works. Let's get onto a pig, and it will automatically give me a carrot on a stick. Go, voila. There we go. Lap 1 out of 3. Actually, this is not really correct, because it's not lap 1 out of 3. Do I have the right track selected, I wonder? Actually, this is an issue that I have to fix, which is that I showed you this next lap function, right? And this next lap function works for every track that has 3 laps, but I have to make a separate one for Baby Park that has 7 laps. But the countdown thing still shows lap 1 out of 3, but if I actually cross the middle here and I get another lap, it will probably say 2 out of 7 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it does. So I'll have to fix that, but that's not really that big of an issue. So that's just how it works. There are a lot of different components that are still left to explain, so I'm just going to glitch out the game. This is how I easily finish races. So I set my middle crossed value to 1, spam that, after 45 seconds, which is basically impossible, but let's go to Sherbet Land right now. Let's just select the map and just TP over there using my handy developer TP tool. Here we are in Sherbet Land. As you can see, this is a bit of a bigger map. It has this ugly penguin that I don't know how to build penguins, but if anyone has a better penguin, please send me one. It has item boxes, but it also has penguins. They only get spawned when you actually play the map. So I'll spawn them in by hand. How do these penguins work? Well, they're basically armor stands in the ground. That's what the head is. But the actual AI is just controlled by a villager that's just invisible. You can't see this guy. So they're just villagers. It's pretty funny actually. So when you hit one of these penguins, one of three random actions can happen. Also, it doesn't do anything when it's falling in the water because I don't actually have the track loaded, but it doesn't matter. If the player set at race 1, I hope it does tell. Okay, it doesn't teleport. My code's broken. It doesn't matter. Um, I know it doesn't do that. I wonder. So there is a function that teleports them back when they're in the water, which is somewhere over here in my completely impossible to see code. So this is for the pig in the water. This is for the pig in the water. This is for the penguin in the water. If track matches 2, which it should, execute as every penguin. Execute the block is water. Oh, I know why. I know exactly why. So because I haven't actually loaded the map in, there are these invisible armor stands called respawn points, which indicate where the player should respawn, and it will teleport to the nearest one when you're in the water. So we need to summon those. Boom, the pig is now at a respawn point. As you can see, this is an invisible armor stand. These are scattered around the map. There's another other one here. Basically, when you fall into the water, it will detect where the nearest one is and teleport you to that one. That's how it respawns you. This can be used to like get ahead, I guess, but I don't really care. Um, so basically, when you hit the pig, it does one of three random actions. This is once again achieved through three armor stands right here, which I'll have a number from 1 to 3, and then just execute an action, which I'm not gonna really go over that right now. But what actually happens when you go into the water? Well, on my main channel, I posted a video about a glitch that happens um, when you fall into the water with a pig and you try to teleport it while you're holding a carrot on a stick to move it. It doesn't actually teleport, or it kind of glitches out. And I found out that this is because the player is holding a carrot on a stick. So if you're not holding a carrot on a stick and you fall into the water, everything teleports fine. So what I had to do was, when you fall into the water, it removes the carrot on a stick from your inventory. It teleports you, and then a couple of ticks later, just like to give you a frozen effect like in the actual game, it gives it back as like half a second. So that's how I fixed that bug. Not really that big of an issue. There's also a water place in Delfino Square right here with a bridge that you can fall into, and it will always teleport you back to this point because this is the only place that you can fall in from because there's these barriers there. Um, I don't really know why it doesn't do the bug here, but it just doesn't, so I'll just leave that. And that's basically everything I think you gotta know about this map. There's not really much more to it. It was kind of hard to code. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't build any of these maps. These were all built by different people, including Sherbetland, except for like Baby Park, which I have to heavily modify. Only like the ground part was built by a guy, and then these things are schematics that I copied from the internet. Their creators are all in the map. So here we go. This was made by Sapphire Green. This is like a little ghost house that I added, which is made by Glacier. I don't know how to pronounce your name. This was made by Kitatech, for example. And then this little track and this water slide thing, which looks like absolute shit. I'm sorry. Was built by me. I kind of like this track. This is actually in the real game as well, like a little roller coaster. Of course, it looks way better. But I base most of my builds off of a noclip.website, which is basically a website that allows you to see what all the maps look like. For example, Coconut Mall right here. It takes a little while to download the map, but when it has downloaded the map, it will show you a full environment that you can like walk in. That you can walk in like in the actual game, as you can see. So I can just fly around here. It's making sounds because my Opera GX browser thinks I'm typing. Um, what is happening to this? Okay, there we go. Oh. So this has a lot of games. You can choose any of them. So you can just basically glitch around the map. This is how I found most of the details in my maps. And I just like faffing around on this page, trying to find like Easter eggs and hidden details like this really glitched me thing, which is only glitched because normally it will display a header of one of your Miis that are in your Wii, but this don't have a Wii here, so that's that's how that works. So that's basically everything I have to tell you. I will make more in-depth behind the scenes videos on my other projects. Only issue with that is that I haven't actually touched them in a while, meaning I don't really know how they work anymore. But if I look into that for like 5 minutes, I'll understand it again and then I can make a video. For now, if you're watching this on a second channel and you haven't subscribed to my main yet, please subscribe to my main channel in the description. I like that people are subbing here, but please also subscribe to my main channel. There's better content, more edited content there. This video is not edited, so, well, just to go subscribe to my main channel. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.